polynomial when a coefficient in front of x squared, is 1. So let's first take a look. Let's use the box method. So first let's draw the box. Our first one, we're going to write x squared, and 6. Our last term goes in the last box on the bottom. So let's look at 6. What are all the factors of 6? We have 1 and 6, 2 times 3, and that's it. Once we factor 6, we want to look and see which grouping, 1 and 6 or 2 and 3, can get us to a positive 5x, which is the 2 and 3. So if I have 2x and 3x, 2x plus 3x equals 5x, and 2 times 3 is also 6. So if we look at this, to get x squared, that means we took x times x. X times x is x squared. To get 2x, we took 2 times x. And here, to get the 3x, we did 3 times x. So our factored form would be x plus 2 times by x plus 3. Now before we get looking at other examples, I want you to flip your page over. 3 different types of problems will arise. The first one is if our original problem, so if the problem has 2 plus signs in it, our answer will have 2 plus signs. If our problem has a negative first and then a positive for the last one, so our C value is positive, our answer will have 2 negatives. And the third example, or third problem you see, is if you have a problem where the last number, which is our C value, is negative. So for example here, our C value, which is our last value, if this is negative, your answer will have a positive and a negative. Not necessarily in that order. You have to determine that order when it comes time for that problem, and we will look at those examples together. Alright, so let's take a look at these first few examples. If we look at this first one, start by drawing the box. X squared goes in the top, 12 in the bottom. Factors of 12. We have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. We have 2 positives, so based on the back, that means we're going to have 2 positives in our answer. To get to that positive 7, it's 3 and 4. So 3x and a 4x. So that means this is x, x, a 3, and a 4. So we have x plus 3 and x plus 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and a 3x plus 4x is 7x. So this is our final answer. Okay, let's look at another example where we have 2 pluses. Draw our box. We have g squared and a 10. So the factors of 10, 1 and 10, 2 and 5. 2 pluses in our problem, so we want 2 plus signs in our answer. To get to a positive 7g, we have 2 and 5, so this is 2g and 5g. So to get g squared, we have a g times g. 2g would be 2 times g. 5 times g, 5g. So we're left with g plus 2 and g plus 5. And there's our answer. Alright, let's look at the problem right underneath. Let's draw our box. D squared goes in the top right. 42 goes in the, top left. 42 goes in the bottom right. If we look at our answer, here we have a plus sign in the end and a minus sign in the middle. So that means we have 2 negatives in our answer. So if we look at 42, factors of 42 would be 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 doesn't, or 3 does, 3 and 14, sorry. 4 doesn't. 5 doesn't. And then we have 6 and 7. So looking at these, we need to get to a negative 17. Remember how both of them are negative. So negative 1 times negative 42 is a positive. So all these are negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. So to get to a negative 17, negative 3 and negative 14. So this is a negative 3d and a negative 14d. So that means d times d is d squared. Negative 3 times d is negative 3d. And negative 14 times d is negative 14d. So we have d minus 3 and d minus 14 is our answer. Let's look down here at this next problem. Draw our box. Top left is x squared, bottom right 25. In our problem, our middle one is a negative and our second one is a positive, our c, so we have two negatives. So let's look at the factors of 25. 1 and 25, and 5 and 5. Since we know they're all negative, because negative times a negative is a positive, the only one to get to a negative 10 would be negative 5 and a negative 5. So this is a negative 5k, negative 5k. K times k is k squared. Negative 5 times k is negative 5k. Negative 5 times k is also negative 5. So we have k minus 5 and k minus 5. And there's our answer. Alright, let's take a look at the last couple. Let's draw our box. M squared in the top left, negative 27 in the bottom right. If we take a look at our problem, we have a plus, and our last one, our c, is a negative. So that means we have a plus and a minus. I'm just going to write them in that order. It doesn't matter which order you do, but just so I know. So let's look at the factors of 27. 1 and 27, 3 and 9, and that is it. So 1 needs to be positive and 1 needs to be negative, and we need to get to a positive 6. So if we did that, if we subtract 3 from 9, negative 3 plus 9 gets us that positive 6. So a negative 3m and a 9m. M times m is m squared. Negative 3 times m is a negative 3m. And 9 times m is 9m. So our answer is an m plus 9, because that's our positive, and m minus 3, because that's the negative. And there's our answer. Let's take a look at one more like that problem. So let's draw our box. P squared in the top left, negative 18 in the bottom right. So factors of 18. And we know one's positive, one's negative, because our last answer, our C, is negative. So factors of 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, and that would be it. So we need to get to a negative 3. So 1 needs to be positive, 1 needs to be negative. Well, I know those two don't work. 9 and 2 can't get us to a negative 3. We have a negative 6 plus 3, though. That will work. So we can say 3p and a negative 6p. So p times p is p squared. 3 times p is 3p. And negative 6 times p is negative 6p. So it means we have p plus 3 and p minus 6. That's our final answer. These 3 that we skipped from each one, those are going to be your assignment to finish on your own.